Doesn't matter.
So what is it? What creates
There's an old saying that the road to hell pays the the sidewalk on that road. Alright. That's what moves you down that hill. That's what takes you down to that road of destruction.
Is that?
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday evening?
Good.
We have Gene Hudson, Nana, and Standing Stones. Welcome, everybody. Nicole. Hello, Nicole. Anthony Lewis. And we have, of course, lovely Rita May. And we have Roger Blair. D. Crosley. Welcome, everybody, as they're starting to slide in. And how was your Halloween, since we didn't get to speak?
It was nice.
Hello, Yolanda. Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to the show as everybody starts to slide in. So it was great. Yeah, I can't complain at all. So we're just staying busy. Hello, Judy Greenfield. Welcome, too. Give a round of applause to Judy. So what is our topic tonight?
Houses and time warps.
Ooh, interesting. I like.
So it's how certain houses need certain energies. You know, like some houses need a single person, some houses need a family, some houses need couples, you know. Same way with structures. Structures need to be certain things. You know, it's really neat to see how, like in an old townhouse, structures will get morphed into something else. You know, and it's supposed to be that energy. Like, say, a bank building gets morphed into like office space, or an old hotel gets morphed into like apartment buildings, or and it's neat to see old towns get refurbished and come back to life. And that's where the time warps are, you know, because it's like stepping back in time, because they set it back to its original glory. And it's like time hasn't changed at all. And I think that that's true. I think that you can step back in time with certain energetics of a building or a space.
That makes sense, yes.
You know, just like the reason why we paint a house that we buy, it's to get rid of the old energy. You know, because structures and houses absorb energy. So when you paint, you freshen it up and get rid of the old energy and put your new energy in there.
Right.
And have you noticed that when you go in an empty house that nobody has lived in, how it echoes? And then once you live there, it doesn't echo anymore?
Yes.
That means it's absorbed the energy and has accepted you.
Interesting.
That's just, I'm not an expert, but that's just my take on it.
That is interesting. I never looked at it that way.
And then houses that are empty look so sad, you know.
Yes, I can see that. Some people cannot go past certain things when looking at houses. What they see, they can't portray themselves living in that environment because of certain colors and the way the furniture is laid out. So,
Right, but that's where you have to use your imagination, though. You know what I mean? See potential in something. But some people can't see beyond that, you know. But energetics, yeah.
uh huh.
If you go in a house and you're like, oh no, well, that means you're not supposed to be in there, and that house isn't for you. And you
Yeah.
can't say why you're turned off, but you are.
Yolanda says, I believe the house picks you.
Totally. Absolutely.
Anthony Lewis says, wander on adventures with the spirit. Is there a story about the large wooden door? You know how people leave certain doors in houses?
I don't. You you mean like a door they liked, or like a stained glass door, or a barn door? Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that, but I
So
don't know why.
interesting. I notice a lot of people's repurposing old barns,
Yep,
making
and
doors in
barn wood,
houses.
you know, and all that,
So
and
yes,
stained glass windows.
I've actually seen stained glass windows sell a home.
Yep, absolutely.
So standing stones. That has happened to me so many times. I used to fix heating systems. Have been in thousands of home sellers. Some would just want to leave pronto. Yes.
Yes.
You can just pick up the vibes and the
Oh,
energy of it.
totally. I mean, you can tell if bad things have happened. I know that I don't think realtors are allowed to say if there's been a crime or a murder, or they can't say that it's haunted. So, but you can feel stuff when you walk into a house. You can feel, haven't you walked in a house after people had an argument? The energy feels all thick and icky.
Oh, I can tell you how many houses I've been in there uh, with arguments and fights and bad things that happen. Gene Hudson, my daughter's house welcomes everyone who comes in. You feel like it's your home. It's been empty almost 2 years. I put it up for sale. I put it up with the prayer the right people will buy it. Yes.
Absolutely.
Standing Stone says, bingo, Kelly Joe. So, does anybody know why they have brass doorknobs in homes?
There's like
This
a legend, but I don't remember it.
so this actually goes back to the old westerns, right? So brass. Before I answer this question, does anybody know why we have brass doorknobs?
I don't know.
Not brass door knockers, brass doorknobs. There's a difference. One knocks on the door and the other one turns the doorknob. Well, I want to know if anybody knows why we have brass doorknobs or
Mm-mm.
handles.
I don't know.
I want to see if anybody answers in the audience.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if they're googling it right now or they're trying to figure it out. So 5. Okay, we've got one durable. No, that is not the answer. Standing stones. Germs. That is correct. I knew somebody was going to get it. Germs. That is correct. Brass does not transfer germs like stainless steel, aluminum, and other metal alloys.
Neat.
That's why in homes back in the day, all the doorknobs were brass
Oh,
because of germs. That is correct, especially on the bathrooms. So that's why in hotels and restaurants, and that's why gas station it's stainless steel. But in hotels and restaurants, the nice ones, they have, hello Melinda, welcome to the show. They use brass because of germs. They cannot
That
live on brass.
is interesting.
Yes. So when you go to replace your doorknobs in your house, spend the extra few bucks and get the brass ones. So, yes, I used to live in an old farmhouse, and we had the old glass doorknobs. That is correct.
Yep.
And the renter, when my somebody, I won't say who, rented the house out, the renters took all the glass doorknobs and sold them.
Oh no.
Yes. So, yep, great to know, Nicole. But yeah, it's just something to throw out there. So,
I
I
love them.
still
They're
Lysol
pretty.
on my door, she says. Yeah,
Yeah, I do too. I squirt them. All my doorknobs.
I use WD 40.
Everything slides off WD 40. But it's pretty neat to see the energies of stuff, And like sometimes, if like certain seasons, time warps will happen, they're more evident. Like June and May, there's a lot of times that the crossways of the energies, you can pop in and out of the time warping, you know. Um, it happens in historic places a lot, like you can like see glimmers of the past and then you rub your eyes and then it's normal, you know. Um, I don't know if other people have that happen, but I've had that happen quite a bit. And energetics of something that it can be good or it can be intense, like historical things that happen in history, like a battle or um, like where there'd be like a wagon train or the Pony Express or anything that did repetitive things. It's ingrained in there, and then it can show up, and it's really really solid and evident. I don't know if other people have had that experience or not.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I still laugh about the story about you and your girlfriend at the restaurant
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
where she got slapped.
Yep, yep. The little girl thought she was cheating with her boyfriend.
Yes. Standing Stone, Gene, I had this guy with altered mental state. Pull out his IV in his arm, is tempted to x-ray him. Woo, no, I'm good. I've seen that happen before. Eric Thompson's calls them. Yes, I have them. I call them time slips.
Yep.
No, Eric, you have them. They're called CRS. Can't remember crap. So, but yes, people do have those. Some people call them slips in the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's like the movie.
Yeah.
So,
True. And
but
sometimes there can be like a parallel imagery too. Like um, that runs side by side. It can be the future. Sometimes you can run into your future self. I've, had that happen a few times. So it can happen anytime along the timeline continuum.
so, what would you do if you actually ran into yourself? How do you handle that?
I don't know. It's not scary. It's just you get to know something that'll happen. Sometimes the time slip will be um, sort of in the future. Like one time I was renting a place and then I kept seeing the single building and I kept wondering, oh, there's a lady that's going to live over there in that single little apartment. I wonder who it is. Well, that was me.
Oh, wow. Gene
So
Hudson wants to know, Kelly Joe, is that like the Mandela effect?
I think it's different a little bit.
Okay. But that was you renting out the apartment in the future?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But that's like a time slip, sort of.
That's interesting. Have you ever been to somebody's house and been like, "Ooh, you all been fighting," and then I can just feel the energy so
Oh,
thick and
yeah.
negative?
Oh, yeah. A lot of times if it's that bad, I'll just say, I'm sorry, I got another appointment.
Wow.
Because it's like, it makes you feel sad and bad. And I'm like, no.
That's got to make
And,
you feel
and it's
awkward,
like hitting a brick wall. You can cut the tension with a knife.
right?
You sit there and you
Yes.
go, ew. And then you go to other houses that's light, bright, happy, airy, inviting, and you know,
Barb says the Mandela effect is when a large group of people misremember a situation. That is correct, Barb. Thank you.
no, that's not no. It's every no. That has nothing to do with the Teen China Hunt.
I've seen the energy of a home change. If someone decides to remodel, it can be hard. Yes. I
Right.
have seen that. I have seen people that have actually lived in homes, remodeled houses, and things have turned for the worse because the people that prior occupied it did not approve of the changes.
Yep.
So,
Yep. The ghosties didn't like it.
Karen Clayton wants to know, can you see any spirits around your home?
Well, your mom's around you. Is she still alive or dead? But your mom and grandmom. And then there's originally she has a tall man that wears like it's like a farmer that's around her home and land. He's not harmful. He wears overalls and a like a straw brim, wide rimmed hat.
Interesting. Standing Stone says we had to clear this house before we moved in. I think Standing Stones lives in an older home too. So I always recommend people to do a house cleansing before you move in.
Oh yeah,
Just to make sure. You just never know.
right. It's always good to. Good old sage works every time.
You know, Standing Stone's house was built in 1780, he says.
Oh yeah, he's had so many people in there. He has a spirit horse that runs around and the blacksmith, the smithy's around.
It's interesting. Does it ever get old seeing things like that?
No, it's like breathing.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's just natural to me.
It really is.
And I don't drink or do drugs. It's just I see stuff.
Hello, Lorna. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you.
Like I love going to ghost towns because it's so fun to hold an object or feel an object. And you can see what happened in the town and the people there and the energies. They aren't stuck. Some people just love where they are.
Karen Clayton says former man would go into the house, miner's cottage, grandmother and mother. Spot on, Kelly Joe. So see. Gene Hudson says, when I moved here 20 years ago, I found small apple-sized cannonballs on the property. Kelly, what do you feel? Do you think there was a battle here?
Yeah, it feels like Civil War time.
Eric says, I'm still scared about relearning my gifts. Don't be scared, embrace it.
Yeah, you're fine. You're very talented.
You're having to ride the horse sooner or later. So you might as well go ahead and get on and ride it, cowboy. So he's laughing. But no, you got to embrace if you're getting potential gifts that are coming to you and you're trying to push them off, just might as well go ahead and embrace them.
Well, because
So
you are what you are anyway, and you can't help but see things, know things, feel things. You know what I mean? You are what you are. You can't not be that.
right. So you got any new occurrences that's happened to you?
Well, Mom turned on the electric toothbrush and it was buzzing in the sink, and I turned it off and it kept falling in the sink and buzzing, and she set off the alarm again. Because I couldn't
Wow.
figure at first, I couldn't figure out what that incessant weird noise was. You know how a electric toothbrush makes weird noise. And I'm like, what is that incessant noise? And I go in the bathroom and here's the electric toothbrush in the sink jumping all around. You gotta push the button to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
Yolanda wants to know, what about her house? Does she have any spirits or spirit?
female um, grandfather on the father's side. And then she has a gentleman that he was a short man. He was only like 5'2", maybe. And he wore a bowler hat and a striped brown cuffed suit. It looks like a 1920s suit. And he wore a moniker.
Interesting. Really is. Don't be, you need those balance of the spirit world. There you go, Mr. Lewis. Well, the truth is, I find it hard to trust with my gift. I'm right, I've been told, but I'm still worried I'm not.
Well, it isn't a thinking thing.
That is correct. Nana would like to know if she has any spirits in her house.
You got a really cute, petite old lady that wears her hair up in a bun. She's only like 5 foot. She wears a white nightgown. And then you also have a lot of your ancestors. You got your great grandmother, and somebody was an herbalist, because one person's carrying a basket with flowers and herbs in it. And then, you have a gentleman that used to live on the land. He had black hair and a thick mustache, and he was like 5'11". And he always wore shined shoes. His shoes were old, but they were always shined.
Interesting. Elaine, any messages for me or anything?
There's like a raise in pay, like a promotion. Um, your grandma was short, and she had always was baking. I smell baking. Your grandma's around you. And then uncle um, on your dad's side is around you. He was tall and thin, wiry, had white tufts and glasses. So that's what I'm seeing for her.
Interesting. Very interesting. Going through the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's saying hello.
The
Uh,
Nana boss wants a reading. She wants to know who's around. Well, you have a tall uh, lady. She's like 5'7", and she has bangs and a flip. So I don't know who this is. It could be an aunt. And then way back, you have people in the military. So it's on your dad's side, I think.
Interesting. Hopefully it resonates, Nana Boss. Lorna Nicole, welcome. Any changes for me in the near future, please, and thank you and love.
Yeah, I see a career change, and the people will pay for her to learn. So there's something with learning and books and better money and benefits.
Interesting.
The lady that I read for, she says she's not working. Well, that means you're going to get a better job then, and you're going to get benefits and all that. You are.
A lady. I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name. If I mispronounced it, I apologize. I have a horrible last name, so I just go by Chris Grizzly. Nana Kim, Kelly Joe, is it possible for you to tell me if the family land my mom grew up on in Guam is in trouble spiritually?
I feel a protection all around the land. Um, why? If there's badness around, it'll be protected. That's what I'm getting.
And Carol wants to know, how does 24 look for me? 2024.
Well, you're doing all kinds of healing. And it's like a whole new cycle. So you get to write your next chapter.
Nana Ball says, wow, totally resonates. Thank you, Kelly Joe. Can you tell me more about this guy?
What guy?
The guy that you was talking about, the tall and stringy guy, I think.
I forgot what I said. I'm sorry.
You got to ask right away before we move on. So ask your question, Anna Boss. We'll come back to you. Anthony Lewis, I was wondering if you pick up anything that shine a light on my path I'm building right now.
Oh, you got like 4 different opportunities. You got 2 business balls in the air, and it's a good thing. And then 2 more. So they're all going to be prosperous and good. And there's a move for you, a total move. You might even live in a different state.
Nana Kim, relatives claims, Kelly Joe, they get bad attachments from the land. It sounds like they bring the attachments to themselves.
Yeah, I don't get that land is horrible. They're very
Oh, go
they're
ahead.
very superstitious.
Nana Ball says, sorry, that was a military background on my dad's side.
Okay, there you go. That's
So,
all I got on that. Tall, thin guy.
let's see here. Make sure I didn't pass. Should I be concerned about the David the banker?
I wouldn't trust him. Be aware. I don't know why.
Anthony Lewis says, yes, that rings true, and that's what I'm picking up on myself. Leanna Ball says, okay, thank you. So it's interesting. Interesting questions.
Yeah, totally.
So when you look at people's houses and stuff, what I mean, it's just interesting to hear them.
Well, it's just, I just see images and I can see the people or the spirits that are there.
Karen Clayton, can you tell me anything about my housemate, please? They're pleasant. Um, you guys don't believe the same way, but you guys agree to disagree. And you guys are a nice compliment to each other. That's what I'm getting. Nana Boss, Kelly Joe, have you always had your gifts or were they developed over time?
I've always had them.
And how was that? Talk about that for a minute.
Well, when I was a little kid, I didn't understand them. Then I developed them over time because I knew how to work with them, but I was always seeing the dead people. I mean, like I told you one show, I had to have mom remove the rocking chair because people were sitting in it all the time. But it didn't matter. They'd stand there where the rocking chair was,
That's funny.
But yeah, I've always seen the dead people. It's like they always want to talk, and it's like it's matter of fact because like I used to live in an apartment that was right by I-95, and all the dead people would come into my bed and say, "Well, am I dead?" "Yes, you're very dead." One time I had two little old people come by and they go, "No, dear, we just took a wrong turn." No, you passed on. You need to go to the light, through the light. So I just, oh, I'd set up a light and say, a door and say, "Go to the light and through the light, through the door." You guys have passed on.
Wow. Does Kelly Joe think where the house is built, like the orientation, call certain stuff good or not so good stuff?
You mean facing different directions?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I think it's more prosperous, feng shui and all that stuff. I'm not a feng shui expert or anything, but east to west is the best, then north to south, and then all the other ones. But it's also the land. What's on the land when you have a house? If something happened on it, it's going to be affected by what has happened to the land.
Kelly Joe from the Nana Boss. What is your most scariest encounter with the dead?
I don't like it when they're violent or if they try to jump me in my body. I don't like that. I won't allow that. So that's,
Interesting.
you know, but sometimes it's like if it's too intense, I have to back out and go out of the building and get readjusted and then come back.
Gene Hudson writes, I remember when I used to tell my mom stuff that I seen or knew, she would get so mad at me. To her, it was evil, and I was to stop it.
Oh, that was that era.
Yes. That is true.
And then I was chased by a spirit one time, and it's like I told it, I drew a line with my finger, and I said, "You stay right there, and you can't follow me." That scared me. He was ugly too. I would travel back and forth between the realms, and demonish things would scare me and run after me. Like I used to have night terrors, and this is a true story. I was running, and we were living down here, and there was a step down into the living room, and I ran into mom and dad's bedroom, and the mirror exploded from the inside out. And dad thought somebody really was chasing me. There really was, but they came out of the mirror.
Oh,
Broke mom's whole. And then I got then to top it all off, I got my legs caught in the sheet and I flopped on the terrazzo floor and I gave myself two black eyes. The school thought I was being beat up. I said, no, I really fell. The sheet I had a nightmare. I didn't tell them a thing came out of the mirror. They thought I was nuts. And I said I tripped over the sheet and I fell on my face.
wow.
But
Wow.
that was scary. That did scare me because that thing was chasing me.
Anthony Lewis, sometime energy so strong it can make it hard to breathe.
Yeah.
Actually, during one show, she was doing a reading, past life's aggressions or something, and you had a coughing spell, remember?
Yeah.
Where you couldn't breathe?
Yep. That was from picking up on somebody who died of lung something.
Yes. Standing Stones is like, what about the mirror? It's got his attention.
Well, it imploded from the inside out.
So yes, that would definitely. It sounds like a horror movie.
It was.
Lorna, do you instinctively know how to ground and protect yourself?
Yes.
I knew this was coming. I knew something about a covenant. I didn't know who it was. Yes, my mom was sent to a covenant at 15 and stayed till 21. When it came to taking her vows, a mother superior said that it hasn't chosen this for herself, and that was okay. So mom came home and married. Wow. What did your parents think about the shattering?
Dad said, wow, because he thought really somebody was after me. My mom was real aware and she knew. So we had to clean up the glass and everything, My dad cussed. He said, JC.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah, my eyes were burned the other night on one show. It was like I was in a campfire or around a campfire or smoke full of room or a room full of smoke. And it wouldn't quit. And I asked somebody in the audience if somebody's around smoke. I don't know if they were smoking or whatnot, but within a couple of minutes, it went right away. I mean, it literally, my eyes were running and
Yeah,
on fire.
you had a spirit that was in a fire or sat around a campfire. That's what I was getting.
Roger Blair, I know my great uncle told there was a few Native Americans buried on top of the mountain in our place. Other than that, I don't know anyone else is buried here or if anything has went on. I went hunting once in Trimble County, and I was at the bottom of the hill. And turkey hunting is in spring in Kentucky, and I heard, oh, and I was like, I'm the only one out in these woods. But it was like an older male, like, I don't know how, like, got punched or something.
Wow.
So I went up to the guy's property, after I was doing my calls and stuff. And we called an old man, Jim. It was his farm. And he asked me what was wrong, Grizzly. And I was like, I don't know. I just heard something out in the woods and it was just awful strange. And he's like, well, where were you? And I was trying to explain to him where I was at. And he just looked at me funny. And he was like, oh. He's like, back in the early 1900s, the neighbors had a dispute and the guy got stabbed down there.
Wow.
So was that a remnants of him being stabbed?
Him. Yep.
So, hello, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. So, Anthony Lewis, worst place are the ones that have a gateway. You feel the energy, you feel like walking around in a pool, or you feel energy just being pulled into one point. How does that make you feel, Kelly Joe?
Yeah, it feels not good. Sometimes I've had like felt dizzy and like the whole. Have you ever had like the whole room flip on you? Like the whole thing will flip. It's like, and you sit there and you go, whoa. And that takes a minute to adjust.
Yeah, let's see here. Let's see here. Welcome, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Meant Bigfoot White. Karen Clayton. Will my son and I be together again?
Down the road, it's going to take time.
Yolanda writes, Grizz, maybe sometimes we just have to announce stuff out loud so the spirit knows you're aware of them. Yeah, you're not telling me. Just like my grandfather, right before I moved from Lexington, I wouldn't pay attention to him, so he started knocking pictures off the walls, and Kelly Joe had to tell me. So I have 60-foot barrel mounds on the hills behind us. That's interesting. I like to have ground penetrating radar out there. Crazy Geechee. Well, golly, where have you been? Welcome. Hello, Dazzle You. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you there. Let's see here. Any more questions? I'm going through the comments. I got a little
One girl
behind.
asked if it took me a long time to recover after some intense. Sometimes, if it's really intense, I'll rest the next day. Because you have to keep up your protection, your energy, and all that to do work with stuff like that.
How does it make you feel? Can you describe it?
Sometimes after you have to do a lot of work like that, you feel drained and tired. Sometimes if it's really intense, your stomach will do flips and you get an upset tummy.
Yes. What are your most favorable and most funny encounters that you had?
Oh, I've met so many nice, sweet ghosts, like the farmer walking alongside of us asking, don't plow up my family. That was sweet. Going to Tucson, OK Corral, seeing all the cowboys out there in spirit and in real life. That was always fun. My girlfriend's house in Detroit, she has an old two-door house built in the 1800s, and there's a grandma, a little boy, and a little girl, and they're just sweet little ghosts. They loved my mom. They kept asking her to go play with them. Mom told the little boy, it's the middle of the night, I'm not going to play with you now.
That's interesting. Yolanda writes to Kelly Joe, when you come on these shows, do the spirits line up when people ask for a reading, or they're just talking all at once to you?
I sometimes they get rather loud. It's whoever talks loudest. But yeah, they get busy. But I can hear them separately because otherwise I tell them don't crowd me because you sound like gibberish because they're all talking at once.
So when you're laying in bed at night, they just come to you sometimes and just
Oh
ramble?
yeah. Sometimes I have them whispering all night long. It's like, you guys, enough. I'll talk to you in the morning.
That
You
is
have to
so
set your
crazy.
limitations and boundaries.
That is so
Otherwise, it sounds
crazy.
like they're going all night long. It's like, really? Please.
Crazy Geechee, how do you do a reading in a group setting like this? And how do you know who the messages are for?
You just target that energy. That's what I'm doing now.
So Nana Boss, she's actually is up for a paranormal group. If there's any paranormal groups out there, and Nana Boss writes, "Do you ever go to haunted locations and help them move on?" Nana Boss,
Yeah,
ask her about hospitals. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Well, when I go to a hospital, and they're always haunted, and I have them come up to me and say, "Am I dead?" Yes, you're very dead. I remember I went and visited a friend, and the farmer died, and he goes, "Well, who's going to plant my crops?" I said, "Your son loves it as much as you do, and he'll take care of it." But everybody comes towards me, so I always end up getting lost. I went down the basement, gathered all the souls, asked them the way out, and send all the souls out to the light and through the light. So we cleared a whole bunch of them out of there, and they're all layered throughout times, different times.
Nana
That
Boss,
hospital, it went all the way back to the 1800s.
we had one psychic medium on the show. You had to watch it. He was in a doctor's office, and his spirit wouldn't leave him alone. And he was carrying on a conversation. His lady was like, "You're freaking nuts. You need help. You know that?" And he was like, "What? Well, what am I doing wrong?" And the poor guy didn't know what he was doing wrong. And I mean, if you could have saw him on the show, his heart was broken. He was like, "What? I'm not crazy." Everybody in the waiting room's like, "The hell you are." But
Oh,
anyways, I mean, I guess it comes second nature, and you just don't realize what you're doing. But I
well,
don't
I
know.
try not to talk to myself, too much, but I do talk to myself. But it just when you're this way that they come all. I mean, I can't go to. I haven't been to a mall in years and years and years because it's too much energy. It has dead energy in it, and it's just. Ugh.
Just the way he told the story, it was funny. And poor me, Grizzly. Of course, I laughed. He didn't think it was funny. It hurt his
No.
feelings. But I mean, I did get him to laugh at the end. Anthony
Oh,
Lewis writes, "Yes, it's like a group of people talking, just hearing Range talk about everything." Dazzle Hughes writes, "Do you know voices? Like it seems like it's in your head. This is like it's happening to me."
that's your higher voice, son. That's your um, guardian angel and guides.
Oh, here's a good question from the Nana Boss. "Sometimes I'm trying to fall asleep. I hear music, but there's no music playing anywhere. What could it be?"
That's you're slipping in and out of different time frames. It's not harmful.
I can't do hospitals. My energy isn't up for that. It makes me feel too much pain, and being on empath's not good. I tell you, Yolanda, I never told once is that I went to a nurse's station and told this nurse that this lady in this hallway in this room, like four doors down, waved at me to get me to come in her room. And the nurse was like, which room was you referring to? And I was like, the fourth one down over here. And she's like, "Are you positive?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "No, are you, show me which room." And I had to walk her down. I'm like, "She needs help." And she was like, "That's impossible." And I'm like, "It's this room right here." She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm telling you, it's this room right here." And I was on the police department, and she's like, "Sir, that lady's been in a coma for 3 days." I swear to God, she sat up and was like doing this number. That freaked me out. So, yes.
Well, you saw her soul. You saw her.
Uh, Nana seen you on Rumble. So, yes, she's on Rumble. She's on a lot of places. Best time is at a hospital when you meet spirit, like talk about things that goes on with staff at hospital. Some staff will talk to you, some will not. They just don't like discussing stuff like that. Nana Boss, that's what I thought. Thank you, Kelly Joe. Nana Voss is a Bigfoot outside playing on an accordion. I knew somebody was going to say something.
Way back in the day, I was trained to be a nurse, and I could always tell when of course, the old people. It was in a nursing home and nursing hospital home, and I could always tell when they were going to die. And I was training this poor girl, and I knew that this older gentleman would pass on, so he had passed. So I had the gurney, and I'm taking him downstairs, and I took her with me. And dead bodies, they sit up, they moan, they make noises, they point, they do all kinds of things. Well, I'm bringing the old man down there, and all of a sudden, when the body stood up, sat up and made a moaning sound, that girl ran all the way out the hallway and out the door. She was gone. She never came back.
Nana Kim, Kelly Joe, is there a message that the spirit guides would like to give us to help survive in the current world or situation?
Keep doing what you're doing. I always say chop wood, carry water. What it means, if you have to chop wood to make fire, you still got to chop wood. You still got to carry your own water. Don't pray for the highest good of all. And that's all, and don't go down the rabbit hole over everything. Stuff I remember when I was a little girl, I asked to have a dream because there was something going on in the world. And in my dream, I saw this yogi, and he says there will always be wars and rumors of wars. But as long as there's little babies being born, that's God's way of showing there's hope. And that was the answer that I got in the dream.
That's interesting. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot writes to you, Kelly Joe, I have to ask, have you ever talked to Bigfoot, dead or alive? This is always a fun channel.
I haven't. Well, I haven't physically. I met one in the woods one time. He threw stones at us, and he was knocking on wood in Wisconsin.
But you do talk to animals, though, don't you?
Yeah. So, he was as curious of us as that we were of him.
Yes, interesting. And let me throw, let's see here. Where are you at, Kelly Joe? I know, got you right here. Oh, here we go. And this is how you get a hold of Kelly Joe. You can reach Kelly Joe at kellyjoe1009@gmail.com or kellyjoepsychic.com.
And I'm available for readings. And she goes, what do I think about elementals? They're very real. They belong in the earth. They're spirits of the forest and the earth.
Yeah, I'm a big, firm believer in elementals. I think, Nana Boss, my opinion is that a lot of Bigfoot are misclassified. Elementals are classified as Bigfoots when they see these creatures or images. So
yes, I agree. But they've never been human.
So yes, that is correct. So, but make sure to reach out to Kelly Joe if you want your own personal session and so forth. And we have another show coming up tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And from coast to coast around the world, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kelly Joe. Bye-bye.